Ma always said he was a real mysterious fella, even when he was with her. Like he was a stranger sometimes.
The stranger. Slipped right through our fingers.
The mysterious stranger is one of the most helpful and most enigmatic characters in the Fallout series, if you couldn't tell by the name. Always looking after you, dispatching your enemies in a single blow, and before you know it, he's gone. But what if you wanted to become the Guardian Angel yourself? Today, I'm going to do just that as I ask the question, can you beat Fallout 3 as the mysterious stranger? Becoming the stranger is a matter of two things, his outfit and his gun. You can't actually obtain these in-game, so I'll have to spawn them in with the console as soon as Amada wakes me up. Considering his gun does, holy Jesus, levels of damage, I'll also set my max health to 1 so any damage of any kind kills me. As a bonus rule, no sneaking is allowed. What the hell, no consumables allowed either. I don't want this to be a total walk in the park. Now, with all that aside, let's get started. My life begins with me being evicted from my mother's womb, completely destroying the canon established in New Vegas, unless we assume James was cucked by the Lonesome Drifter. Like any sane parent, he chooses not to give their baby a name, and instead calls him a mysterious stranger. The title is so powerful, it takes up 2 lines of text. My appearance is an immaculate capture of how the stranger appears in-game. Everything seems to be going great until...
James! She's in cardiac arrest. Start compression. Get the baby out of here. Move! Move!
I get my first kill.
Hang on.
I'm now a 1-year-old who uses his power over the space-time continuum to leap into the void, ending up in an alternate reality where the vault is in ruins. It is here where I am viciously mauled by giant roaches that reveal the spaghettified eldritch abomination locked inside me. I am not a baby, but a god. And once I have my gun, I shall prove it. I'll be carrying virtually nothing, so strength is meaningless. Besides,
I am beyond strength.
The same goes for endurance. I won't be able to take any damage, so that stays at 1. Finally, my pistol has the highest critical chance and damage available, so luck is worthless as well. I dump all my points into intelligence, agility, perception, and charisma, go through a time warp, immediately strip naked, and place the sweet roll right in front of Butch to be polite. He decides to repay my kindness with harsh words.
See how funny you are later when I'm pounding on your face.
Which he will dearly regret later. My dad then instructs me to kill a roach with a BB gun, which is, in fact, not the stranger's iconic revolver. However, because Todd held a gun to my head and forced me to commit insecticide, it doesn't count against the challenge. A few years later, I'm ready to take my GOAT exam. I take off my clothes once more, choose to be proficient in lockpicking, speech, and small guns, and I'm finally sent to the alternate reality I went to as a baby, only this time it's just regular reality. This fully awakens my eldritch powers, causing a hat, trench coat, revolver, and 999,999 bullets to appear out of thin air. The mysterious stranger has no need for armor, can obliterate anything with one pull of the trigger, and never worries about ammo. Have you ever seen the mysterious stranger run out of bullets? Yeah, I didn't think so. I am now God, and it is time to reap the sinners. But before that, I set my maximum health to 1 so any damage of any kind kills me. I told you Butch would regret the day he spoke to me with mean words, and I meant it. I give him my BB gun as a false sense of hope, and then use my eldritch powers to set his mother's health to 1, causing the roaches to pop her like a water balloon.
She's dead! She's dead, and you could have helped and you didn't! Get away from me!
I then get to work wiping out all the scum inside the vault.
I've dealt with your kind before, you little snot-nosed punk. You should have run like your coward of a father.
Leaving the dark confines of the vault as I did my mother's womb levels me up, where I put points into lockpick, explosives, and repair, and get the Swift Learner perk. The first thing I do on the outside is break into a retired prostitute's home and take all her money, as I'm not going to be trading at all during this playthrough, so having some backup funds couldn't hurt. I then give a lore-accurate response to Lucas Sims.
Name's Lucas Sims, town sheriff. The quiet type, huh? God, I hope you ain't one of those psychotic quiet types.
Nonchalantly disarm the bomb, and level up yet again, putting points into small guns, speech, science, and lockpick, and becoming an even swifter learner. All seems to be going well, until this man runs into a roof so hard he phases into it, only to berate me for my good deeds.
So, you're the genius who disarmed the bomb. Weeks of waiting and watching ruined! In the future, best sleep with one eye open.
After handing over some caps to an Irish gentleman, I begin to make tracks towards my father, ending a fly's life with unerring grace. It is at this point I should mention that the mysterious stranger's coat is decidedly not meant to be worn by the player, and as such, the model clips into my field of view and even my Pip-Boy. This is something I will just have to live with. Leveling up again, I get lockpick to 75 and the educated perk. It's here where I suffer my first death on the outside, as a large green man turns my head into a live leak video. But I press on, obliterating all the mutant scum in my path. Until I'm accosted by a rather chonky boy. Now, the game encourages you to use the Fat Man at this point, but little does it know that I have something even more powerful in my hand. The Wrath of God.
I'm sure. You can handle yourself. I'll give you that. But let's not get carried away.
After charming Triple Canine, I level up once more, getting speech to 50 and becoming the swiftest learner in all the land. On my way to Rivet City, I avenge our Lord and Savior, Saint Mitten.
Get what you fucking deserve!
I also clear the exterior of and discover the Jefferson Memorial, which is useful as Dr. Lee sends me right back so I can look for my father. A bit of purging the genetically inferior later. I reach level 6 where I get lockpick to 90 in the Gunslinger perk, increasing my accuracy in VATS. Now, I'm truly unstoppable. Alright, maybe that's not the right word. I pass by Tenpenny Tower on my way to the garage, where I break my way into another vault. Unfortunately, the rude brains and jars force me to abandon my trench coat. You could consider this failing the challenge, but considering I don't use the armor the suit provides or the skills it boosts, I think I'm in the clear. Once inside the simulation, I revert to a child, get lockpick to 100, and pull the old to allow the communists to take over. I then use my Eldritch powers to view this Chinese soldier's inventory and see that the icon for his jumpsuit has squinting eyes. I'm sure this is a completely innocent graphic with no other meaning whatsoever. Now, most people would just fast travel to Rivet City and wait for Dad to arrive, but I am not most people. I'm the mysterious stranger, and I shall be my dad's guardian angel this day. As it turns out, there's a good reason nobody follows him, as he engages with every fly, scorpion, and mole rat in a 50-mile radius. The highlight has to be when he decides to run through a raider camp, leading to a lot of After the most tedious walk of my life, he finally reaches Dr. Lee, and I waste no time doing his mindless busywork. That is, until the Enclave arrive. I find out you can actually kill the soldiers while inside the drainage pipes, but yeah, it doesn't go well. After my father floods the room with lethal levels of radiation, the Colonel survives by injecting himself with, nothing. Brilliant. Making my way through the tunnels with Dr. Lee proves easy enough, until she stops us because of Garza's stupid heart condition. Luckily, I can convince her to leave him behind, to which he proclaims himself the god of barrels, standing under a ray of light sent by the heavens. My attempt to thwart his divine power is fruitless, so I press on, easily dispatching some ghouls until... As it turns out, Garza's heart condition is contagious. I then witness Dr. Lee violate this man's personal space.
Lions! I know you're in there! I know you can hear me! You open this goddamn door right now!
Get speech to 100, go through the old cutscene Rothschild computer Rothschild routine, and head back to Tenpenny Tower to complete their quest, as I don't want to simply rush through the main story. Simply put, some irradiated people who smell of corpse and live amongst brain-dead homicidal zombies want to trespass onto someone's private property, and I am faced with the intense moral dilemma of whether or not to let them do so. After euthanizing their brethren with 44, I bring up the idea of a peaceful solution to Roy and Tenpenny, then get to work dealing with the bigots. This quest teaches us an important lesson. Racism can always be solved through threats of violence and forcible eviction.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Now that the ghouls have moved in, I'm sure they'll get along perfectly fine, and there'll be no racial tensions to speak of. Speaking of tensions, the very northeastern corner of the map holds a very topical quest I can do, involving going through an election with the glorious Republic of Dave.
There's an election for the next president. Don't look so surprised.
I convince Rosie to run for president, but as the people's loyalty of Dave is too strong, she ends up losing.
The people have re-elected me as their president. It's great to see the democratic process at work.
I then head to Butch Hartman's failed Kickstarter project, making some Deathclaws my bitch in the process.
I made you my bitch!
When I arrive, some hippies with assault rifles roofie me with a bowl of spiked punch, and I see that the giving tree has seriously fell off.
Would you please kill me?
Okay. Of course, nothing in life is that simple. Two of the hippies are arguing whether to spread the tree's growth or stop it, and I choose to keep the wasteland as a barren desert, not out of any moral or logical reason, but because I wanted to see what would happen. The game, of course, punishes me by giving me a stupid missile launcher instead of the unique power armor you get for choosing the other option. I can't use either, but I'm somehow still pissed off. I decide to vent my anger in the healthiest way possible, and then convince some little kids to let a balding stranger in a trench coat into their town. Now, I could describe in great detail how I violated the rights of every green-skinned freak in this vault, but...
I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end.
Time! Game's over!
I even go ahead of Fox to ensure he doesn't kill any of the mutants for me, but since the game damages you when you reach any level of rad poisoning, I have to let him get the Gek. Which wouldn't be a problem if you didn't walk so fucking slow. I can't believe what I've witnessed. Fox survived a shot from my pistol. He has spat in the face of my eldritch power. Such insolence cannot go unpunished. Reloading a save, he pulls the Gek out of his ass while I'm not looking.
As promised. Yeah. Here's the Gek.
And I'm kidnapped by the US government. Oddly enough, my Magnum is missing from the locker, so I will another one into existence. As punishment for taking my gun, I make sure everyone inside here perishes. And I do mean everyone.
Get out while you can, before they get you too!
I'm sorry you see it that way. What are you going to do? Kill me over it?
I then convince President Eden to commit sewer slide. Twice? And escape from Raven Rock as it finally lives up to its name by being reduced to rubble. Before finishing the game, however, I wanted to see how the ghouls and humans at Tenpenny Tower are getting along. Oh. Faced with this blatant injustice, I can only think of one solution. Necromancy. That's right, I bring the Tenpenny residents back from the dead to enact revenge on their irradiated neighbors. However, it seems they're all in some sort of brain-dead trance.
What do you need?
What do you need? What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
You need to leave!
So I put them out of their misery instead.
Good.
Watch it. Good riddance. There's got to be someplace safe.
I think the real lesson we needed to learn from this quest is that sometimes nobody wins.
But I don't have to justify myself to you or any other smooth skin. In fact, you'd best piss off if you don't want to join him.
Back on track, as someone who can die from a stiff breeze, my best strategy is to stick behind the propagandizing Gundam to avoid the missiles being flung at him, blow up any cars from a safe distance, and shoot at anything that even slightly resembles an Enclave soldier. Finally, the home stretch. I convinced Colonel Autumn to leave, peacefully.
You would just let me leave? How can I be sure you won't just shoot me once I turn my back on you?
Cycle the airlock, enter the purifier, and immediately die from radiation poisoning. Since I'm not allowed to use Radaway and I don't have any in the first place, I have to load a save from before the entire battle, let Dr. Preston flush the hurdy waves out of my body, and do the entire thing all over again. And this time, I'm not fucking around. I managed to enter the code the literal frame before I would have died from radiation, sacrificing myself, and proving that yes, you can beat Fallout 3 as the mysterious stranger.